This is going to be a short stream. I just, something happened to me yesterday, and we're going to just, so you have something to look at. We're going to play this while I tell you about it. So, yesterday, the 14th of January, Thursday, I don't know, like, if I've told you, but, like, or how many of you know that, and I have my dad's permission to say about this now. My dad has mixed dementia, and it can be good days and bad days. He still lives alone, but he has a friend who helps him out, um, that lives in his apartment building. Um, he has been going downhill like this past week. Um, she's not understanding that the threat friend that helps him, he's depending more on her, more and more on her, and she's not understanding the fact that. Just a second. Let me just on Discord here make this announcement real quick. Okay. She hasn't really been understanding that normal things are getting hard for him to remember how to do, um, such as cooking a frozen dinner in the microwave, kind of thing. So he has not been eating much. I found out. I've been calling him every day. He takes a fiber supplement, and I have to call him every day at 4 o'clock. Um, my sister's doing it today for me. Um, every day at 4 o'clock to help him take it step by step. It's Benefiber. And these conversations usually last like an hour. Uh, one thing about him is he doesn't understand time anymore. To him, an hour feels like 20 minutes when I'm talking to him. And yet, 20 minutes can feel like 5 hours to him when he's waiting for something. So, so yeah, he is a man outside of time. But this past week, it's been getting bad, and I found out. He was telling me that he was feeling like headed and everything, and so I said, "Well, what did you have to eat?" And he's like, "Well, I ate a bunch of grapes this morning." And so I'm like, "Dad, you got to eat something, and you got to eat it now. That's probably why you feel so bad. How about something quick, like a sandwich?" And he's like, "A sandwich? Okay, how do you make that?" And I say, "Well, you take two pieces of bread." And he looks at his bread. He says, "Oh, I don't want to use my bread up because this lady also takes him shopping, and she's got her own problems. She's bipolar. Um, they had a fight over something that he didn't know what it was about, but all he knew was that she was mad at him, and because he doesn't drive, she's his only choice. She, to take him anywhere. So he's afraid he's never going shopping again. That's how he's seeing this. And he said, I only have like, and then he counted 13 slices of bread left. If I if if I eat sandwiches all the time, if I use two pieces of bread to make a sandwich all the time, I'm going to use my bread up, and I won't have any more. How about if I just use one piece? I'm like, no, you need a whole sandwich, Dad. And he's like, no, I'll use it all up. And he started getting extremely anxious because that's one thing about dementia. It you obsess about things, and you get anxious, and it like overwhelmingly anxious over whatever it is you're obsessing about. And it was a good 2 hour conversation and stuff, and And, by now, um, we are a family of faith, okay? We're Christians. We don't go to church really, but, we got the basic Christianity thing down that makes us Christians. And, it's Jesus Christ your Savior, blah, blah, blah. This is not going to be a preaching thing. Okay, this is not going to be a preaching stream, but it's going to be a stream about something amazing that happened to us. Okay, getting that out of the way. So he was totally obsessing about that. And I kept telling him, Dad, you have to trust me. You have to trust me. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about, the next few days. Don't worry about, your friend or anything. Only worry about right now if you're going to have to worry about something. Right now, you need a sandwich. God has always taken care of us. He's always provided for us. You're not going to go hungry. And this is stuff he used to tell me when I would get anxious. He would remind me of how God has always worked in our lives and provided for us in very clear ways that we can specifically recount ways that we have been provided for. So I told him that back, just like he used to tell me. And we prayed, for, that this anxiety would go away and all, and that he'd be provided for. And so in that 2 hours, I was able to have him make a sandwich. And then as he was eating it, he was like, this is so good. Oh, this tastes so good, which told me that he was starving. When something tastes overwhelmingly good, something like a sandwich, it's because you're really, really hungry. So I was exhausted after that phone call. So then the next day was better. It was better. He had made up with his friend. And then that's one of the things. It's like they're in high school or something. It reminds me of like when my sister was in high school and she'd be like, "Oh, we're fighting. Well, my friends are fighting. I hate them. We're never going to talk again." And the next day, they're totally fine. That's how it is with my dad and this lady. Uh, so matters got settled there, and I had him eat another sandwich. He begrudgingly did so, and it was another 2-hour conversation about it. So after all this, my sister and I are talking about, well, maybe he needs some caregiver help. And I had talked to my dad about that day, and he's like, no, it's too expensive. It's too expensive. I can't afford it. And like he was just, so I'm like, okay, all right, we won't talk about this right now because right now you need to make a sandwich. So there was that. And then my sister offered to call him the next day to give me a break. She was going to call him on Thursday, which is yesterday. Well, yesterday for me started out, well, the whole day was pretty much crappy. Now, here's my other problems. First of all, I can't go anywhere because I have to use public transportation. And if I were to get COVID, I would definitely die because I have really bad lung problems. And it would put me on a ventilator, and I'm pretty sure I would die. Um, so I can't go anywhere. And my doctor wanted me to get some lab work done, routine lab work, which needs to be done, to see how I'm doing. And so last week, a visiting nurse from a company, and it's private pay. I had to pay like $60. You have to pay $60 or something per visit. She came, and I'm a really hard draw. It's really hard to get blood from me. And she was able to get like half of the lab draws um, at that time. And I said, okay, well, I'll make another appointment. Maybe someone else can get it done, you know, at another time. Apparently, that first person was their best person. Um, Long story, I'm not going to drag it out and tell you everything of why it couldn't happen, but the second person came and didn't get anything. She wasn't even able to get into the vein. She didn't have the supplies. I don't think she had the skill level, and I have to pay $60 for that visit. So that is labs that are not going to get done, and I was freaking out about that because I talked to I called them and they're like, well, then you should go to a lab, and I said I can't go anywhere. Well, I can't. I don't know. It's just not going to happen, I guess. I'm starting to get a little anxious already talking about it. There was that. Another thing is they're having COVID vaccines, free COVID vaccines coming here. Um, this month and next month, I believe, and then in March to get the 2 shots. And I was like, yes, I need that, you know. And but then it turned out I couldn't get it because they need to make a copy of my health insurance card, my Medicare card, which I had lost like at the beginning of last year. Because last year, is it last year or the year before? It's probably the year before, because that's when I was having a bunch of hospitalizations because I kept getting pneumonia. And, so I figured it was just lost. Early last year, I called the Medicare system and was hours on the phone getting bounced around. Finally got to the right person, was on hold for forever. Finally got to the right person, and they said it would take 8 to 10 weeks for me to receive my new card. It never came. So I was like, well, fine, I'm just not going to have a card. I don't want to go through all that again. And for the COVID vaccine, you know, 8 to 10 weeks, that's too long. It's going to be done with by the time I got a new card. So I was depressed and anxious about that. And then I ran out of my acid reflux medication, and I couldn't get a new one because the whole prescription had to be um, rewritten. And it's the weekend and I'm out of it, so I don't know what's going to happen there. So all of this stuff plus my dad. So I was so to reiterate, my dad with his sandwich problems, me with all my problems. My sister was going to call my dad to help him with to help him take his fiber medicine. So tomorrow or yesterday at 3 o'clock, I had a video visit with a video doctor visit. And during this video visit, I told all my problems and everything, And so, like now, I can feel my blood pressure going up just talking about this stuff. After I was anxious and all after I got off of that. But I figured, you know what? It's about 4 o'clock now. I might as well call Dad so that my sister doesn't have to, because she's got 3 little kids, like between the ages of 2 and 5, and it's just a nightmare for her to talk on the phone. So I texted her and I said, I'm going to call Dad today since since I'm still up and have some free time. And I had stayed up all night the previous night, so I was tired. Yes, okay. I will do that. I will do that as soon as I. And you're going to appreciate this. You're going to appreciate this, Spooky. Um, I'm I'm telling you this. I'm talking about this amazing thing that God did for me and my family yesterday. So to reiterate, my dad was not eating and was afraid to make sandwiches because he has mixed dementia, not necessarily Alzheimer's, but it's dementia, and part of that is obsessing over needless things. And he wasn't eating because he was afraid he was going to run out of food. And the lady who normally takes him to the store, he had a fight with that day, and in his mind, she was never going to take him to the store again. So so as it was a 2 hour phone conversation that day, trying to get him to make a sandwich. And and then I've been having all these other problems. So yesterday I was so down, and my sister was going to call my dad, and I texted her. I said, I'll just call my dad today. You can, I'd appreciate it if you called him tomorrow instead. So, which is today. So yesterday I called my dad, and he can hear the anxiety in my voice. He's like, "What's wrong? Tell me what's wrong." And so I'm like, "Oh, just blah 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 blah." I don't want to get all into it, but and I told him, and he said, "Well, listen to this." Okay, he had been. They had in his apartment building. They've got this little like pantry type store. He happened to have just gone in there, and he was worrying about his bread, how he's going to run out of stuff. He shouldn't be eating sandwiches. What's he going to do? And all of a sudden, he looked up in front of him, and they were selling pre-made sandwiches for $1. And it was like, oh, okay, thank you, God. You all right? You're providing. Yeah. And then he was worried about mayonnaise. He only had a little bit of mayonnaise left, you know. And he looks up at the top of the shelf, jar of mayonnaise for $1. And that was, that was God telling him, don't worry about it. That he's got your back. And he told me that, and I immediately, after he told me that story, I totally felt peace. I was like, oh, you're right. And I'm so glad I called. And now I know that it was the spirit that moved me to call because he needed me to hear that story. And so that was awesome. And, we praised God about it. And I was so glad that my dad felt better about it, and that I got to hear that and all. Well, this stream right now should be just chatting, but it's not. I'm not streaming for very long for this thing, but I'm not done with this story. This stream is just about this story. It's not over. So I get off the phone and I texted my sister, and I told her about, oh, I'm so glad, that I decided to call dad and everything, because I really needed to hear that. And then my sister texted me, um, oh, do you qualify for the COVID shot? Because I don't know if you were here when I was talking about that, but yeah, they're giving the COVID vaccines here, but I could not do it because I don't have my insurance card. I lost it a long time ago, and if I did call in to get a new one, it would take 8 to 10 weeks, anyways. So I'm missing out on this opportunity to get the free COVID vaccine. And I explained that to my sister, and then she texts me back, "Oh my God, I have your card." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Is this a joke?" I haven't had that card for like 2 years almost. She said, "Yeah, Dad gave it to me a while ago. For some reason, he had it, and I've almost thrown it away a couple times, but I kept it." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" It's like, so first the sandwich thing, and then the mayonnaise thing, and then randomly the my health insurance card. It was just too much. It was just amazing. And I love how the whole family was able to get into it on it too. So my sister got to get on this thing, and I was just so blessed. It was just so, I was euphorically giddy over it. And And of course, I called my dad back and told him, and he started crying about it. He was so happy, which that's another dementia thing. You can be like overly emotional, but oh, the joy. And I felt like I needed to share this story so that others could be blessed by this, to know that when God is in your life, He is there for you always, in the big things and the small things. He will not let you down, even if it feels like He is, even if things from your point of view are not going good. I mean, I still don't know what I'm going to do about not having my acid reflux medicine over the weekend, but I'm choosing not to worry about that after what happened yesterday. So that's what this stream was about. I'm going to stream another game, but just for this talk, I wanted to, just have a game going that nothing really happens in, so I could concentrate on the talking. But yes, that's what this stream is about. And I felt like I had to share, and I feel like God would want me to share so that others may be blessed by fact, the fact that God is always there and cares about each and every one of us. Okay, so okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna stream. It's called. Well, I'll let you pick. One of the games is called Inmates, and it's a scary one. Where you're in this like kind of prison and stuff, and it's horror. And the other game I have is Tell Me Why, and you've probably heard of that one. It's a little bit like Life is Strange. Um, which one should I do? I mean, the horror one will be more fun because there'll be the jump scares and hilarity. But I've heard Tell Me Why is a good game too. I'll let you pick. Okay. No, I'm feeling it. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. All right, Jesus Calling for January 15th. My face is shining upon you, beaming out peace that transcends understanding. Oh, I feel it. You are surrounded by a sea. Oh my gosh, listen to this. You are surrounded by a sea of problems, but you are face to face with me, your peace. As long as you focus on me, you are safe. If you gaze too long at the myriad of problems around you, you will sink under the weight of your burdens. When you start to sink, simply call out, "Help me, Jesus," and I will lift you up. The closer you live with me, the safer you are. Circumstances around you are undulating, and there are treacherous looking waves in the distance. Fix your eyes on me, the one who never changes. By the time those waves reach you, they will have shrunk to proportions of my design. I am always beside you, helping you to face today's waves. The future is a phantom seeking to spook you. Laugh at the future. Stay close to me. Wow. Wow. That's so cool. He's still talking. He's still talking to me. So yeah, so that's what the stream is about. I just wanted to say that story and share it. And I'm probably going to put this up on YouTube so that it's there forever. So thank you for watching. And I will be back with horror. I will be right back. Yes, I do. It's Shrika, just like this one. Yep. See you soon.